The tall, gangly thing?
Hello and welcome. Today I am joined by Cloud9's k3soju, top streamer in TFT. Many people know him for some of the highest highs and sometimes the lowest lows of TFT while streaming. Before we go on, Soju, why don't you just talk a little bit about yourself?
So hey guys, I stream TFT. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of people know you as like being one of the top TFT streamers, but they don't really know much about like your background in competitive gaming. Can you give a little bit or tell us a little bit about your background in League and in other competitive games?
Ever since I was little, I just played a bunch of video games. I think I started with like MapleStory. And I would like actually sweat that game a lot. I'd play like 12 hours a day. But then after a certain patch, Big Bang specifically, it just got super pay to win. So I kind of quit that game. And moving into middle school, I played League of Legends and I played NACS, which is like Academy now, I think. But I'm like a mid laner, but I played top. And after I ran it down 2 games, I got banned for elo boosting anyway. But anyway, I was in school at that point. I was doing a bachelor's of science in biomedical engineering at the University of Rochester. And my grades were not good, but I was just playing video games on the side. I played a little bit of competitive Fortnite as well. And then after that, I just played Dota Auto Chess, and then I transitioned into TFT.
It sounds kind of like you've always had like a competitive mindset, right? Like, would you say you've always just been a competitive person?
Yeah, I think so. So like a lot of times C9 is trying to get me to like do like for fun content, where I have to do like random challenges and stuff, and I'm just like, bruh, like I cannot not try hard. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, and then I was in the middle of my master's program at the University of Rochester, and then I dipped as soon as I started streaming TFT. So
So yeah, it kind of sounds like TFT really changed your life a lot, right? Kind of took you out of school and like put you on this new path. What does life actually look like if TFT doesn't blow up, if you don't blow up as a streamer?
okay, so I actually dropped out when I when I was averaging like 50 viewers. I just like hard dipped. But I guess I would have just finished my master's and I'd probably just be working a standard job. I don't know. I was never really passionate about anything, but like streaming was something that like I could actually put in like 20 hours a day and not feel burnt out. So I was just like, you know what? I told my parents, I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm not. I don't want to do school anymore. It's kind of boring. And then yeah.
Talking about, you've been in TFT since the beginning, since set one. You've seen all the different sets with all of their, different flourishes, the things that make them unique. What has been your favorite set? Not in terms of skill expression or on a competitive level, but just in terms of pure enjoyment.
It's probably set 3 with Cassidon. I think I talk about it a lot, but some sins as a comp was introduced in set 2, and it's not the specific comp, but it was more so a comp that could use different carries and then like hitting 2-star units and like flexing between different synergies, and not every single game is going to be the same. And that's what it felt like with Cassidon. I think he was like Celestial Mana Reaver, and then you could pair him really well with like other Celestial units, especially since Zaya is like a Celestial Blade Master or something. But it was just like every game you could play a different carry, different items, and like flex your synergies depending on who your carry is. And I think that was like one of the sets where there was just like a bunch of skill expression. Whereas, like right now it's a lot of reroll, which is fine. It just sucks that the 4 cost or like the fast 8, like the more consistent way to play is not it right now. But that's being changed soon. Set 3.5 was they removed some of the galaxies, but then they removed Cassidon. So a lot of the time it was just a reroll. And set 2 was RNG fest, and set 1 was really imbalanced, but it was the first set of TFT, so I think that's why a lot of people really enjoyed set 1. So it'd probably be 3, then 1, then I don't know, 4 and 2 are it's okay.
So let's go back again to like the streaming side of things. Okay, so July of, I guess, 2019 is when TFT comes out. You start streaming and you have like this meteoric rise essentially, right? Where you kind of become an overnight sensation to some degree. what is it like actually going from, not really streaming all that much to suddenly being a huge personality and representing Cloud9?
Um, I don't know. I feel like I got super lucky. So like the story was when I used to play League, I have like a bunch of connections from regular League, and definitely was on the C9 team, and he kind of recommended me as a streamer to his general manager. And then they like reached out to me even though I just started streaming. I had like 50 viewers. And then, but I really did stream a lot. I think when I first started, I think I streamed like 100 hours a week. I would do like 24 hours, rest for 6 hours, 24 hours, go to class 24 hours, and then it was just a mess. But yeah, but I definitely got lucky, and then I got even more lucky when Dog hosted me, and Dog used to play TFT. Scara hosted me, and I would just stream infinite hours. And I think eventually, if no one else is on, they have to watch me, right? So
Yeah, I was actually looking at the streaming stats, and that month of July, your average stream numbers per day, it was something crazy where I think you averaged over 9 hours per day if you streamed every single day of the month. So for every day of the month that you didn't stream, that means like on the days you're streaming, you're basically averaging 12, 13 hours, like at the minimum, assuming that you take one day of the week off, right?
yeah, and I was still in my master's program at that point. So like I was just showing up to class, and it was awful. Uh, but
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to see like you spent a lot of time streaming when there wasn't really a lot of return, but like look where it ended up getting you, right? Like what a crazy story to actually tell.
yeah, I feel like the biggest thing is it's just if you don't enjoy it, just don't stream it. It's like I feel like it's impossible to burn out. I know a lot of other TFT streamers are starting to feel like burnout, but it's like the trick is like people call me a flake and all, but like if you're not enjoying it, just don't stream. It's not worth the burnout. And if you are enjoying it, just stream,
So,
so that's
so is
what
it
I
safe
do.
to say, because some people, well, I don't think you would shy away from saying that like on stream you do criticize the game sometimes, but I think it's safe to say based on what you're saying right now that despite the criticism or the issues you might have, you still really enjoy the game.
Yeah, like I love TFT. I wouldn't be complaining about the state of the game. Like I would just give up on the game if it was just a lost cause. But like Mort is really it's not I'm not like a paid actor or anything. It's just like Mort is really like he's like woven himself well into that like high elo community. They bounce around high elo. And he does a really good job like listening to people and offering feedback. And then trying to bounce around it. Like just looking at the new patch, there's a lot of stuff like 1 cost getting nerfed, 4 costs getting buffed, chosen change. Like it's literally everything everyone complains about just gets fixed within 2 weeks. But yeah, like I do think that I could complain a little less, but at the end of the day, like don't get me wrong, I do love TFT, and I'm always gonna come back to TFT. I really enjoyed auto chess, like even though there was no competitive system, and like just like I feel like sometimes I do take it for granted, but it's still a good game. Like I feel like I would always come back.
So let's talk a little bit more on the competitive side of TFT. Next month, the NA regional finals are coming up. So what I want to know is, besides you, we know now that NA is going to have 4 spots at Worlds, 4 qualifier spots at Worlds. Besides you, who are the other 3 players that you think deserve a spot at Worlds?
I don't think I'm going to put in the effort to actually be like okay, so like the thing is with the chosen mechanic is like your effort definitely does pay off. Like effort will always pay off, but it's just like at the highest level, everyone's really good. Um, so it's really going to be who can get more lucky on the day. Obviously, if you put in more work, if you are the best player on the patch, you don't have to get as lucky to win. But like most of the time, it's like if you're winning, you got lucky. But I think like the people that are willing to put in the effort, or not even just the effort, but are really good right now. I think the best player right now, and he has been the best player the entire set, I think, is New Owl. I think his solo queue stats are it's insane. He's at the top, set 4 by infinite margins. Doesn't even play the game, and I think he's like rank 1, rank 2 right now. So Nubao is probably the best. I would say he is the highest chance, and it's not even going to be me, Kyun, or any of those players. Not because like we're bad or like we're washed or whatever. It's just that like I feel like streaming is different from trying to fully compete as a competitive player, and you really can't push yourself that hard, especially since you're streaming and then like. But anyway, sorry to answer the question. I think one is Nubao, two is probably going to be Spencer actually, and then three, I think the third favorite it's either me, Kyun, or GB8. But I think those are the top four.
Something you said actually, it did stir another question in my mind, where you're talking about how streaming and tournament play are two very different things. So let's set up this hypothetical world where you can make the same amount of money, you can live the same lifestyle, either streaming or just focusing on tournament play. What would you prefer?
Streaming. It's not even close. It's just like being able to like wake up, interact with chat, and then like even if the game is awful, at least like your chat would like send some memes over or like just like chill. I don't know. I think just playing the game and like focusing your hardest to improve on every single game is just like you got to have fun sometime, you know. You can't just always you can't always be studying the game, always. Just like sometimes you got to just like sit back, enjoy the game. But that's not to say that I'm not learning. It's just that like if you were to like try to learn really hard, you would probably get accustomed to perfect scouting. You can't fight the last four, and then you can perfectly guess the last three, and you scout every round, scout other people's items, see what they're going for, all that stuff. But it's just like when you're streaming, you can't even do that, like let alone even scout. So you kind of just playing like a staple game, and then your consistency will just kind of like show up. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't think it's that surprising. I think most people would probably say that streaming is a lot more relaxing and probably more fun than playing tournaments, especially in a game with so much, variability that even if you're the best player in the world, you're still losing the majority of the tournaments you enter, right?
Right.
So it probably is a lot more fun to actually just stream. That said, let's go back to Worlds. Which region do you actually think is the best shot at winning Worlds?
It's NA or EU. I think China or Korea are both really strong regions. But the top four is NA, EU, KR, China, no order. I think NA and EU are both equal strength. You can ask like Salvi, Fluffy, which are like pretty high level representatives of EU. There's a lot of memes like NA is greater than EU, EU is greater than NA. By the end of the day, I think that both regions are probably the two strongest. NA has not done a good job, especially with this NA versus EU tournament. But like, dude, like it's not an excuse. Like, I mean, okay, it is an excuse, but at the same time, it's like a valid excuse. Like, me and Q, no one is taking this tournament seriously. Like you're just having fun. And yeah.
Now I know that China actually does have 5 representatives going versus NA's 4. I don't know if that's because of player base or if that's because of past performance. But it sounds like you're saying you actually do believe that despite that, NA still has a better shot just in terms of player strength.
I think I think it is based on player base, because if it were based on performance, I don't think NA would get like even 2 spots, because last Worlds was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, I think we only had Socks, right? And I don't think he didn't even make top 8.
Yeah, because it was unlucky because I don't even know, he did not play TFT at all going into Worlds, and he played Mastery only, and then Mastery got nerfed, and he was just so lost. I don't think he knew how to play any other comp, which was pretty obvious. But Sauce is a great player. Like, it was just unlucky. And then wait, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Just in terms of like China versus NA player strength versus past performance.
Like when you watch China play, they're really good at like getting top 4s out of nothing. And everyone is just like rolling down, like playing super aggressive, which is fine. But I think they don't know how to close out games. Like, they don't know how to balance their eco and like do the next step. And like it just feels like their stage 5 board is really weak. Their stage 3 boards and stage 4 boards are a lot stronger. And that's because of their meta. Like, they have to roll down. But I personally think that the way to play is like you should really balance eco and board strength like a little bit later. So like their like mid game transition is usually 3-2, but I think that like I don't know. It's not like saying one play style is better than the other. It's just the way I feel like you should play the game is like the switch off happens like early stage 4, late stage 3 instead of just 3-2.
I've always felt when I watch your stream that you are one of those players where if you can get to late game, it's always a safe bet that if you're in the top 3, you can like outposition or like figure out a way to get top 1s. It seems like late game is kind of like your thing. At least that's been my interpretation of watching your stream. What do you feel like is like your best strength as a player?
I think I'm just consistent. Like I refuse to roll before level 8. Like I will never roll before level 8. That's just my rule.
Yeah, I've lost a lot of LP trying to play like you.
I mean, it's fine. It just forces you to play a stronger board early game, and when you mess up on it, it's not because sometimes you get unlucky on 8, but most of the time it's like holding different units. But if you set the rule that you never roll before 8, sometimes I do have to roll in 7. But it's usually like you can figure out what units am I holding incorrectly early game, and working on early game is everything because some games you have to roll in 7, and rolling on 7 is actually fine. But just putting yourself at the best opportunity, like playing 200 games. If you're just really consistent about playing early game board strength, what you're holding, you're going to climb. Like there's just no way. And then I think capping your board late game is, I don't know. That's why I love TFT. It's just I feel like you can just cap your board with a different board every time. A little less this patch than the more of the other patches, but I think that's what it is. It's just early game, mid game board strength. I just don't roll, so it's not a strength, I guess, but. Yeah,
it's so interesting to see like the different philosophies of the game, right? Like a couple weeks ago when I did have Robin on for an interview, his whole thing he was talking about is that he would rather just stabilize on 7 and like take the top 4, right? Like his whole thing is like, I don't really care about my economy if I have a strong board and I can win these like round 4 going into round 5 matches and get a top 4 out of it. So it's cool to see 2 really high elo players, both of which are top 10. Right now, or at least have been in 4.5.
I think I'm ranked 6.
Okay, yeah. Sure. So 2 top 10 players who have like very different philosophies on how to approach gaining LP.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. So like, I think if you're playing well, you do a balance of both. But if you're just autopiloting, you don't have to roll on 7 every time. Yeah, but it really is like sometimes it's fast 8, sometimes it's stabilize on 7.
So long term. What's the end goal, right? Like, would you want to ride TFT out until the very end, or is your goal to actually be able to transition into other games long term?
I only like streaming, so like I play other games. I play a bunch of Tarkov, and I think it's only Tarkov. Oh, maybe Valorant a little bit, but I only enjoy streaming games that I'm actually good at. I don't know why. It's just like that. So as long as TFT is still fun and I'm still good at it, I'll probably continue streaming it. But I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to be streaming like long term. Yeah, but honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do if I'm not streaming. So I'm not sure. It's a hard question.
Yeah, esports is still young, and I think that like there are opportunities in the space right now that didn't exist 10 years ago, 5 years ago even. And so you're in a unique position where streaming may be your thing right now, and in 2 years, you may find a new opportunity that you have through streaming that gives you like a long-term career. But who knows? I mean, it's esports, and no one really has any idea what's going to happen. Right. But that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about, or anything you'd like to shout out?
Shout out to my girlfriend. It is Valentine's Day soon, so her. I also wanted to say. This is just unrelated, but do you remember set 2, the invitationals? Were you playing set 2?
Yeah. Like at the like at the end, like the send off tournament thing. Is that what you mean, or no? Like
no, it was like the set 2, or it was the set 3.
The set 3 Galaxy
like
invitational thing. Yeah, I do.
I just wanted to throw a quick jab. I actually cannot believe they did not invite the streamers that actually play the game. Yeah, that was kind of unlucky, but Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. For more TFT content, make sure you guys like and subscribe. I have another TFT 101 episode coming out next week. But again, K3soju, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys later.